This with Sokhan and I received the Holy Spirit. I would cut myself, I'd slit my wrist, and I enjoyed that pain. It hurt, but I also enjoyed it, again, because it was like a release from everything that was going on inside of me and externally. From my early teenage years, I was abused by a family friend and by my family member, my uncle. And this led me to self-harm. I had very low self-esteem. I thought I was ugly. I would look in the mirror and I'd hated what I'd see in the mirror. I would cut myself, I'd slit my wrist, and I had this sewing kit, and I would go in there and I'd take a needle and I would slit my wrist with the needle. I would feel it was painful, but at the same time, there was some sort of like release of the pain that I was going through, like everything that was happening in my life. There was even a challenge on social media called the Salt and Ice Challenge. And on top of the cuts I already had, I'd put salt on my arm, and then you put an ice block on top of your arm. And then that would kind of burn your skin. And I enjoyed that pain. It hurt, but I also enjoyed it, again, because it was like a release from everything that was going on inside of me and externally. There were nights that I'd wake up and I could feel a force on my chest just holding me down. And I would try to scream and ask for help, like call for my mum, but I couldn't get anything out. I would just literally scream with all my strength, but nothing would come out. And there was other nights where I'd be dreaming, have like a really bad nightmare. And halfway through the dream, I would wake up, but it's like I was still sleeping, but somehow still awake. And I could see a figure, and the figure was coming closer to me. And I'd again try to run or move, but I couldn't. My body was paralyzed. So because of everything that was going on around me and inside of me, I became very, very insecure. I hated the way I looked in the mirror. I thought I was scum. I would wear a lot of makeup to cover up everything that I didn't like about myself. And I just thought that no one cared about me. I had such low self-esteem that I didn't respect myself. I even wanted to be a stripper at one point because I just didn't care for myself. I didn't value myself at all. And a friend invited me to the youth group, and I came along with her. And when I arrived there, I loved it. However, I hadn't really made a true decision to actually take things seriously. So for a period of over 4 years, I was back and forth from the church. I'd be in and out. I would come to the church, I want to apply things, but then go back and do my own thing, do whatever I felt like doing afterwards. After 4 years of being in and out of the church, I finally made a decision to really give my life to God this time. It was a New Year's night vigil, and I decided that I'd had enough. I'd had enough of being in and out. I had enough of being, double-minded. And then I started to take the steps to get closer to God. In about only 3 months or so, I was delivered. I had been baptized. I'd been completely freed from everything that was going on inside of me. So after receiving my deliverance, my focus now was to receive the Holy Spirit. So my main reasons for receiving the Holy Spirit was because I was empty inside, and I knew the only way that I would be able to fill this emptiness if the Holy Spirit was inside of me. I knew that only God could fill this emptiness, and also I wanted to remain. I didn't want to be in and out, up and down in my faith. I just wanted to be, with God completely. So I needed the Holy Spirit. And as well as that, I wanted to save souls. So I knew that, again, the Holy Spirit would be able to use me to pass life, so I needed the Holy Spirit. So during the Wednesdays and Sunday services, I was learning more about the importance of the Holy Spirit. And I started to realize that there were things inside of me that I had to let go of in order to receive the Holy Spirit. So I decided that I was going to start to look inside of myself, and all the thoughts that I had about myself before, the negative thoughts, the insecurities, I had to literally let them go and give them to God. The grudge I had against the abusers, I had to forgive them. One had even passed away, and I decided that I was going to pray for him and pray for his family, just so that I can completely free myself from all the grudges I had against them. I also took time out to dig deep and search for deeply rooted things that were inside of me from my past, and I literally surrendered all of it on the altar, gave it all to God. I doubled my efforts. Everything that I did for God, I did it more. So if I was fasting, I fasted double what I would usually fast. I would bring more guests than I would usually bring as an offering to God. And I remember that Sunday morning service when I attended, and it was in the service and pastor said to seek the Holy Spirit. And in that moment, I knew I had done everything I needed to do. So it was just pure assurance. It was just like, God, I know I've done everything. And when he finally came upon me, it was like, I'm with you. It was like a strong assurance that God was with me now. Like in my mind, it was like, it wasn't an audible voice, but I just knew that God was with me, God was in me. The void that I had inside of me was completely gone. I was no longer insecure. I no longer had desires to self-harm. I was no longer depressed. I didn't have the emptiness inside of me anymore, or no more low self-esteem. I didn't want to go and, be a stripper anymore. Like I had a reason to live now. I sleep well at night. And now my mind as well, like my mind has been completely renewed. The way that I look at myself, the future that I have for myself, it's completely different. Like I actually have hope for the future now. Today I have the assurance of my salvation. I love saving souls. I go to the Saturday battalion meetings and I go out and I speak to people and I'm able to pass life to them. Today I am a completely different person.